188th Convocation ceremony. This is an event to honor the accomplishments of all our graduating students. In just a few moments, our graduates will enter, followed by the academic procession. Professional photographers will take each graduate's photograph as they are receiving their diploma. And in order to ensure everyone's safety, we ask that you remain in your seats during the ceremony. Finally, as a mark of respect for our graduates and to enable everyone in the theater to enjoy the ceremony, you are asked to silence your cell phones. Thank you and enjoy the celebration. Bonjour et bienvenue à la 188e collation des grades de l'Université Bishops. Ceci est un événement pour célébrer les réalisations de tous nos finissants. Dans quelques minutes, nos diplômés vont défiler dans le théâtre, suivis de la procession universitaire. Des photographes professionnels prendront des photos de chaque diplômé recevant leur diplôme. Pour assurer la sécurité de tous, nous vous demandons de rester à votre place pendant la cérémonie. Par courtoisie envers les diplômés et les autres invités, nous vous demandons de fermer vos cellulaires. Merci et bonne célébration.
graduates, distinguished guests, members of faculty and staff, as we gather on this splendid day, we acknowledge that we come from different places, hold diverse values, and cherish unique beliefs. And yet today we're united in gratitude. At the start of this convocation, the last time that we will all be together, I invite you to pause for a moment and express thanks for the gift of intellect, the goals that you have accomplished, the support of your family, friends, and mentors, and a society that encourages the pursuit of knowledge. In a world where many do not have access to higher education, we give thanks for the achievements, degrees, and honors that we celebrate today. Dans un monde dans lequel plusieurs ne détiennent pas de futur, nous sommes reconnaissants pour les rêves, les espoirs et les projets qui ont été présents ici à l'Université Bishops. Dans un monde dans lequel plusieurs n'ont pas de communauté, nous sommes reconnaissants pour le soutien de nos professeurs et les membres de staff, des membres de notre famille et de nos amis. May we commit then to using this gratitude as inspiration to light the way from here, so that we may imagine the unimaginable, face the unthinkable, and live with integrity and compassion towards others, especially those who suffer. As we go from this momentous day on different paths to different experiences and different destinies, may our gratitude unite us in the desire to use all that we are and all that we have for the common good, so that reasons to be thankful will fill all lives. A new journey ahead beckons. We go forward now to embrace it. For our years here at Bishops have taught us that it is the journey itself that brings joy. We offer our gratitude in the name of all that is sacred to each of us alone and all that is holy to us together. May this gratitude grow into the freedom to live, work, and serve others all the days of our lives. May it be so.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift.
May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay forever young. Forever
Welcome to the 2016 graduating class and their families, friends, and supporters. I now declare this Convocation of Bishops University to be open. It's customary at these events for the Chancellor to say a few words to convey to the graduating students a few thoughts which at least he believes to be wise. But first, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our history. Our beautiful Bishops campus is located on the traditional territory of the Abenaki First Nation. As we begin this celebration of our graduating students, we, the Bishops community, honor the Abenaki as the traditional stewards of the land on which we're meeting today. And as for words of advice, you're here to graduate, not for the advice, so I'll be brief. Étant donné que c'est votre première expérience d'une collation des grades, vous ne vous rendrez pas compte que je vais me répéter un peu. Dans mes conseils, mais je vais effectivement me répéter parce que je vais vous donner les mêmes conseils que j'ai donnés à mes enfants quand elles avaient votre âge. When you completed high school, the pursuit of further education was probably the default option, and the only choice you had to make was where you would do so. For many, if not most of you, you're now at a stage where there is no default option, and the range of choices that you have is daunting. You spent 3 or 4 years, and in some cases perhaps longer, lingering on the Massawippi, acquiring a liberal education, that's knowledge of a particular field of study, and being exposed to critical perspectives on your discipline. You've had the good fortune to study on a campus where the world literally meets. Half of Bishop students are from outside of Quebec, including about 250 international students from more than 40 countries. This experience will have exposed you to a wide range of perspectives, which is an essential ingredient for success in the 21st century. Your university years will have helped some of you form a clear idea of your life's calling, but I expect that most of you don't yet know what that is. I certainly didn't when I was your age. While no one can tell you what to do, I can give you some advice about how to think about the question. First, define success. Your bishop's experience will have given you opportunities to reflect on what success might look like. Everyone defines it differently and personally, but here's what has worked for me and the people I know who've been fortunate enough to find satisfaction in their work life. Find something to do which you feel passionate about, which plays to your strength, and which associates you with people and organization with whom you share common values. It's impossible to know at this stage exactly what field of endeavor will meet your definition of success, but you shouldn't let this uncertainty impede progress towards that goal. The thing to do is to make the best guess you can, choose from amongst the available choices, and then go for it. Your youth limits your range of experience. However, that youth is a huge asset because it means you have lots of time to accumulate experience and let it inform your choices. So use your youth to advantage by trying things, assessing them against your definition of success as that evolves. Some of you will be fortunate enough to find the right fit on the first try. But if you don't, try something else and keep on trying until you do. A couple of real-life illustrations of how this can work in practice. A friend of mine, when we were undergraduates, worked at different things and then decided in her late 20s that she should become a medical doctor. She fretted that going back to school meant that she'd be older than her classmates and she'd be in her mid-30s when she started to practice. She eventually realized that she was going to reach her mid-30s no matter what decision she made, and that she'd rather reach that advanced age able to pursue a career that would give her job satisfaction than not do that. And that decision has given her decades of job satisfaction. In my own case, I started out studying engineering, but I realized late in the degree that it wasn't really for me. I finished the degree. I went to work in an unrelated field where I had my first opportunity to see what it is that lawyers do. Based on that exposure, I decided that the practice of law would suit me, and in fact it did. However, in the course of my practice, I became interested in business, and when I got the opportunity to go into business with people that I liked and respected, I took it. The point of these stories is that the feeling of uncertainty you have about your life's work is an age-old condition for which there's rarely a silver bullet or a once-and-for-all solution. You need to pick a point to steer for, be proactive, and be prepared to make mid-course corrections until you find yourself doing something about which you feel passionate with people that you like and respect. Our hope is that your time at Bishop's has contributed materially to preparing you for this journey, that your discussions and debates with professors and peers have allowed you to reflect on what is important in life and where satisfaction may lie for you, that the experience of a liberal education in the classroom, and equally importantly outside the classroom, has given you some of the tools you will need to assess your progress towards your goals in life and make the adjustments that will inevitably be necessary over the course of a lifetime. So congratulations to all of you and to your family and friends who've helped you get here, and good luck on the next leg of your journey through life. And now we'll proceed with the convocation.
Mr. Chancellor, I now invite Mr. Trevor Lovig, President of the Bishop's University Alumni Association, to present the Alumnus of the Year Award.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chancellor, Mr. Principal, distinguished guests, and the class of 2016. Welcome to the greatest alumni in the world. In fact, I want to welcome you even a little bit more personally. Next Friday night in Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal, we're having some events to welcome you to this alumni. I know the Chancellor is going to be hosting the event in Toronto. I'll be the one in Montreal, and the beautiful young woman next to him is going to be hosting and visiting the one in Ottawa. So please come and say hi to us at those. So today, really my job is to be presenting the Alumnus of the Year, and it is with great pleasure that I get to bestow this upon Kathy McLean, who is here today. This award is the most prestigious of the Alumni Association and goes to that alumni that has demonstrated a long-standing commitment and contribution to the university. It's been awarded since 1967, and today we're very proud to honor her and add her to that distinguished list. This year's recipient, Kathy, was graduated in 1982 from political science, and since that time she's been a role model for what it means to be a Bishop's University alumni. She's a generous donor, an avid supporter of our athletic programs, and a committed volunteer to Bishop's University. She's the former president of the Bishop's University Alumni Association, a current member of the Board of Governors, a cabinet member for our capital campaign, and is now mentoring young youth in Ottawa through our program called JUMP. Beyond that, she is always consistently providing her advice and support for our advancement office, and she is an outstanding example and role model to all of our alumni and how they can continue to contribute to this great school. So on behalf of Bishop's University and the greatest alumni in the world, I want to thank you and join me in thanking Kathy McLean as Alumnus of the Year.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chancellor, Principal Goldblum, graduates of the class of 2016, friends of the university, it is my honor to present Abel Bosum. We have all heard and read too many tragic stories about Indigenous communities in Canada. Well, today we celebrate another story, a remarkable story of success against all the odds. We honor Abel Bosum, a Cree leader of unusual distinction, even among the extraordinary cadre of Cree leaders. In doing so, we celebrate his achievements and those of his community of Oujé-Bougoumou and of his nation, the Cree of B.Sc, James Bay. But most of all, we celebrate Abel the man. The name Abel has several meanings. One is breath. Another is the great stone on which the ark settled after its long voyage. And a third is a grassy place, a meadow. Abel's life reflects all these meanings, for it is the stuff of biblical epics. Abel has had a long career of stunning achievements. First among them, he led the struggle to reestablish his community of Oujé-Bougoumou, driven from their land 7 times in 50 years by mining developments and other projects. They lived scattered in tar paper shacks by the side of the road, with no water, no electricity, no services of any kind. Then, supreme irony, they were treated as squatters on their own land. Where others might have despaired, Abel rallied his community. Where others saw only shacks, Abel inspired his people with the vision of a shining community. But vision alone is not enough. Abel fired his people with the courage and determination to make it happen in the face of government indifference and hostility. Not only did the people of Oujé-Bougoumou reestablish their community, they did it with enough design flair and environmental sensitivity for it to be recognized as a model by UNESCO. Abel is too modest to acknowledge it, but he might have been named Moses, for he brought his people home. Abel has made a career of negotiating landmark treaties and agreements for his community and for the entire Cree nation. These include the Pays des Braves, the Cree-Quebec Governance Agreement, and key agreements on health, engineering, mining, forestry, and many more. Abel has done these deals, often very complex and high stakes, with an extraordinary blend of vision, empathy, firmness, charm, shrewdness, and when needed, the face of the Sphinx. Disarming adversaries with a shared laugh, a story. All the while, grooming a new generation of Cree leaders to carry on the work. In the end, what we admire in Abel goes beyond his achievements. It's Abel the man we admire, the man who inspires those around him to make real a vision they never thought they had it in them. The man who, true to his name, breathes warmth, generosity, compassion, courage, modesty, and a roaring love of life. Mr. Chancellor, for all these things, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Civil Law, Honoris Causa, Mr. Abel Bosum, former and founding chief of Oujé-Bougoumou.
Domina spectatissima auctoritate mihi commissa admitto te ad gradum doctoris in juris civili in nostra universitate honoris causa. Congratulations. Welcome.
Nascom 7 Ugadi Sakats. Good afternoon. Bonjour. Thank you for your warm welcome today. And I'd like to express my most humble gratitude to have been chosen by Bishop's University, among who I am certain were so many worthy candidates to receive this honorary degree in civil law. I understand that it's customary for people who receive this recognition to address the graduating class and to pass along life's lessons and some wisdom. Whether I have shared with you today is wise, useful, or resonates with anyone will be up to you to judge. I can only say what I know. I want to begin my brief remarks by describing for you where I come from. I, like most Cree people of my generation, was born in the bush. I was born in James Bay region we call EUSG, which in Cree means land of the people. I spent my early childhood living in a traditional way of life with my parents, living off the land in the comfort and security of tight-knit family. My early life was carefree and adventurous. In the summer of 1960, when I was about 5 years old, my parents and I made our way by canoe from Oujé-Bougoumou, our gathering place, to Mistassini Post located on Mistassini Lake. This was an annual trip my parents took in order to obtain credit from the Hudson Bay Company to purchase supplies that would last us through the winter. My parents pitched up a tent upon arrival. This particular trip would change my life. One evening, my mother pulled out a bag with new clothing. Surprisingly, they were for me. I was overwhelmed because I never had new clothes. She had me try them for size and then asked me to remove them. She told me that I could put them on the next day without an explanation. All I could think of was tomorrow would be a very special day. That evening, I was told to sleep early, as I did. I wondered what tomorrow had in store for me. I was up early the following morning as my parents prepared tea and bannock for breakfast. Afterwards, I was told to put on my new clothes. Within minutes, I was dressed and walking around proudly. My parents were strangely quiet as they went about packing a small bag. They didn't talk to each other, nor did they make eye contact. I thought they had an argument. That's all my 5-year-old mind could understand. It was not long after I heard a plane circling the community. As always, when a plane arrived, there was commotion in the community. People were anxious to see who and what it brought to town. My stepfather, Samuel, called to me and simply said, "It is time." He took me by the hand, and in his other hand, he held a small bag they had packed. My mother walked beside us quietly and took my free hand in hers without uttering a word. As we neared the docks, I noticed other children wearing new clothes, making their way down to the dock. Once at the dock, families started to murmur as a white man came from the plane, started calling out names. I watched children being loaded onto the plane, one by one, some starting to cry, leaving their parents standing alone on the docks. I could sense there was something wrong. Then I heard my name called. I looked up to my mom, who was in tears. She stooped down and kissed me and said something I couldn't make out as she wept. My stepfather gently pulled me away, took my hand and led me towards the plane. He lifted me up in his arms and kissed me. The next thing I knew, I was inside the plane, filled with children. All I could hear were sobs as we tried to catch a glimpse of our families through a small window of the plane. I felt trapped. I was scared. And there was nowhere to go. In a panic, I looked around for my parents, but I didn't see them in the crowd. In hindsight, they must have left the area because they couldn't bear to watch what was happening. As fear gripped my body, I screamed for my mother, but she could not save me from the inevitable. I don't remember how many children were on that plane that morning. All I know is we were crammed in tightly. I heard the engine of the plane start and saw the plane slowly float away from the dock. Within seconds, we were in the air, heading to an unknown destination. We had no choice. No choice but to sit there and try to understand what this was all about. A giant tub sat in the middle of the plane. It didn't take long for me to realize what it was there for. One by one, we all became sick. The plane smelled of diesel fuel and vomit. At some point, we could no longer cry. We were sick, helpless, and moving further away from the only home we ever knew. This was my reality at a tender age of 5. I was swept away from my parents, away from my culture and tradition, and displaced to a strange environment with strange people and strange rules. I was forbidden to speak my mother tongue, forbidden to communicate with other children I knew, and forbidden to speak unless spoken to. The freedom I once enjoyed had vanished in the length of a plane ride. it was stripped away instantly. This was my first experience with the Indian residential system. For the next 10 years, I grew up in a foreign environment that was intended to assimilate me into the mainstream Canadian society with the intent of destroying the Cree in me, my Cree roots, and my Cree way of life. It would later be termed cultural genocide. But I stand before you today as proof that I didn't let the system destroy my spirit. Residential school is where I met my wife, Sophie. We shared many of the same experiences and vowed that we would never allow our children to suffer or be abused as we had been abused. Sophie and I spent the last 46 years of our lives as partners, fighting for social justice and for a better future for our children, our grandchildren, our community, and our Cree nation. I returned to my village in late 1960 to find that the world had changed all around us. A forestry road had been built from Lake St. John to our traditional territory. Many mining prospectors had arrived. Before long, 2 municipalities were established and 5 mines were in operation. The Quebec government moved in with its offices, and the next thing we knew, we were fined for hunting on the land we grew up on, and we were forced to move. Our villages, our home, along with our graveyards, were bulldozed by mining companies to make room for their exploration and development work. It was clear that the mining companies were in charge, and their activities took precedence over everything else. We had to relocate our homes and rebuild our villages 7 times during the course of 15 years to make room for mining development. By 1970, we came to be viewed as squatters on our own homeland, and every effort was made to make us disappear. There was no consultation and no regard of our inherent rights within the traditional territory. This was a frightening time for my people. All of this took place at the same time as very dramatic events were unfolding for the entire Cree nation. The James Bay Hydroelectric Project was announced. Again, on a much more massive scale, the Cree people were not consulted, nor our consent ever sought. We undertook legal proceedings to defend our rights, our environment, and our way of life. This massive project went on to flood 11,500 square kilometers of our traditional territory, roughly twice the size of Prince Edward Island. This devastated and destroyed a significant portion of the USG and interfered in the way of life of our Cree people. After a lengthy court battle, an agreement was concluded. The James Bay Northern Quebec Agreement was signed in 1975, which is regarded as the first modern-day treaty. There was to be a process in that agreement to address the need of my community for a permanent home. Unfortunately, as is the historic pattern of many agreements between Indigenous parties and governments, clear obligations were not respected by governments, and the Cree Nation was left with a broken treaty. Back home, by the 1980s, the people of my community have been reduced to living along the highways in third world conditions with no running water, no sanitation, no electrical facilities, despite the world's largest mega project in our backyard, with the majority of my people living in tar paper sacks. My people asked me to become their chief, and with the support of a small team of resource people, I spent the next 15 years fighting for our right to have our own village once again, and this time a permanent one. We spent enormous energy developing our case, lobbying, strategizing, planning, fighting to obtain our right to a home. After many years of struggle, in 1989, we concluded an agreement with Quebec, which allowed us to begin construction of a new community. Canada signed on 2 years later. Oujé-Bougoumou was reborn. It has since received a number of international awards for its innovation in community development and has been regarded by many observers as a model Aboriginal community. We finally came home. At the Cree Nation level, we launched court cases and we conducted national and international relations campaigns to bring world attention to the failure of both Quebec and Canada to fulfill their solemn obligations under our treaty. In 2001, the Cree and Quebec agreed to set aside conflicts and to create a new partnership through a new relationship agreement. This marked the turning point in relations between the Cree and Quebec, and we have been on this new path ever since with both levels of government. We have embarked on a path of mutual respect and collaboration, and also on a path of Indigenous nation building. Today we continue to grow and evolve. Although we have a long journey ahead of us, we have laid the foundation for the emergence of a unique and dynamic Indigenous nation. Now you may ask yourself, what does this all have to do with you and this ceremony? It is simple. It's for the students. We all face struggles in our lives, and we have stories about these struggles. It is these struggles and stories that'll shape you, that'll shape who you will become. The story that I've shared with you is simply mine. It is a story where choice was stripped away from me at a very young age and stripped away from my people. In my adulthood, I wanted to be in control of how my future was shaped, and I wanted my people to become masters of their own destiny. Although my experience in a residential school was dramatic and extreme, I had to learn to deal with new and strange environment. As graduates, you too will be presented with challenges. You will enter into new environments. You will be pulled out of your comfort zones, and you will have to make critical choices that will shape who you will become. Please know that having a choice is a right and a privilege. So exercise that right responsibly and wisely. I believe that all our lives have a purpose. My purpose has given me a reason to get up every morning. My purpose has helped me weather storms and helped me face difficult challenges. My purpose has helped me to discern the right path from the wrong one. So I say to you, believe that you have a purpose in this life and live your life with purpose. My life experience has taught me about passion. If you are sincerely committed to achieving a noble goal, and if you devote yourself entirely to that goal, with your mind, your emotions, your energy, your will, and your spirit, you will get there. Along the way, you will pick up all the skills, the knowledge, and the education you need to get you there. Do not be afraid to pursue your passion. My life experience taught me to be open-minded. I have learned that there are many truths. Depending on whose perspective you see it from. Choosing to treasure the diversity of people you will encounter, along with their belief systems, will allow you to better understand what's happening around you. Open-mindedness to other truths, not holding too tightly to your own, may sometimes result in feelings of vulnerability. I believe that it is our vulnerability that protects us from the arrogance of certitude. It is certitude, along with fear and excessive pride, that are the enemies of creativity and open-mindedness. Be courageous. Become the hero of your own story. Never let other people tell you that you can't do something. And remember, courage is not about conquering fear. It's about acknowledging fear. Getting to understand your fears and deciding to act anyway, armed with your deepest values and your highest ideals. You will receive a diploma from Bishop University. Hang this diploma up with pride as a testament to your achievement. Let it serve as a reminder that you can achieve many great things in this life, armed with choices, a purpose, your passion, and an open mind. Congratulations to all this year's Bishop graduates. Thank you, Mirgach. Merci.
I now invite the members of the graduating class who are to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts to please stand. Mr. Chancellor, and all members of the university, with the unanimous approval of the Convocation, I present to you these candidates in order that they may be promoted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Arts in our university, together with its responsibilities, rights, and privileges.
Jeremy Andrews, with distinction, the St. Mark's Chapel Prize. Lisa Astrologo, with distinction. Nicolas Blanchette. Kelly Brown, with distinction. Michael Twang, with distinction. The Professor E.A. Prince Memorial Prize, Honors Thesis in Political Studies. Marion Kleck, with distinction. Andrew F. Johnson Prize in International Political Economy. Kayla Curry Bartlett. Helen Daly, with distinction. Stephanie Dehaut, with distinction. Dana DiNardo. Connor Donald. Alyssa Duchesneau-Cousteau, with distinction. Emma Fingler, with distinction, the Gerald Theodore Rayner Prize in Political Studies. Kayla Galin, with distinction. Maria Isabel Henao Estrada, with distinction. Justin Hopper. John Horner, with distinction. Hillary Landrigan. Elizabeth Lisa Nganwe. William O'Connell, with distinction. Mariam Oyawoye. Ashley Parker, with distinction, the Canadian Association of Geographers Prize. Matthew Robinson, with distinction. Anna Rojic, with distinction. Jennifer Rooney, with distinction, the Professor T.W.L. McDermott Memorial Prize in Political Studies. Luc Saulnier. Miriam Shendroff. Kanisha Smith. Lisa Tejpar, with distinction. Olivia Amiel. Véronique Artel. Marianne Homais. Antonella Batilana Velarde, with distinction. Felicia Benbow. Jonathan Vermillo. Hélène Bigra Dutrissac. Jessie Blaquière. Nicholas Brands. Robbie Burke. Alexandre Charret-Gagné. Farah Linda Cherrier. Yu Chi. Mélanie Jolette. Michael Cleghorn. Elisa Clements. Valerie Cooper. Julie Dagno, with distinction. Jordan Dollinger. Joey Dunfox. Stéphanie Desrochers. Devin Eaton. Donya Egbali. Martina Fisher. Emily Anne Frichette Rioux. Carla Galin. Zoe Galloway. Roxane Gaumont-Brûlé. Daniel John Gilbert. Audrey Jingra. Alyssa Gonin. Jonathan Goyette. Kelly Grice. Robert Hall. Natalie Hickey. Jason Hines Duncliffe. Vanessa Huddleston. Rega Jihad. Émilie Jobin. Jessica Johnston Baudin. Patrick Kabongo. Rebecca Knox. Silvana Kusau. Sarah Kornder. Stephanie Lamb. Samantha LaRouche. Jordan Lavoie. Emily Leek. Daniel Leblanc-Cyr. Benjamin Leosis. Élise Levasseur. Matt Lewis. Connor Logan Hill. Nelson Manpulla. Amelia Martin, with distinction. Laurent Masella. Awa Diane Maboj. Kyle McRae. Hannah McGovern. Gavin McGuire. Kenneth McKelvey. James McVicker. Jared Murray. Kevin Miles. Saraya Nakuda, with distinction. Cody Mills. Stefan Nkurunziza. Daniela Noel. Tiffany Osterman, the David Rittenhouse Prize in Entrepreneurship. Jacob Page. Connor Patton. Nathaniel Pert. Andréane Perron. Delvina Poirier. Rebecca Reed. Angela Ripolo. Emilia Rochette Michaud. Julia Ross Leroc. Melissa Rusanganwa. Aaron Sanders. Harry Saporta. Kathy Skirba. Oliver Schlossmacher. Yasmin Shalan. Casey Simeon. Michael Stanley. Lauren Straw. Andrew Zaz. Felix Tachereau. Stéphanie Taveres Daniel. Theo Thompson. Dilip Varma. Oscar Veron. Melissa Vidal. Laura Villegas Martinez. Matthias Vuxan. Haibin Wang with distinction. Jessica Ward. Justin Alexander Warden. Adam Warrington. Charlotte Williams. Mohammed Bilal Yamak. Ching Yan. Antoine Fortin Villieu with distinction, the undergraduate prize in mathematics. Félix Baudouin. Karen Bedard Lothrop. Jacob Dennis. Camille Engel. Annika Jara. Alexei Stokowski. Ashan Wikramasinha. Kiramuddin Yakubi with distinction.
Will the members of the graduating class who are to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand? Mr. Chancellor and all members of the university, with the unanimous approval of this convocation, I present to you these women and these men in order that they may be granted the degree of Bachelor of Science.
By the power vested in me, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Science in our university, together with its responsibilities, rights, and privileges.
Samantha Cote with distinction. Maxence Koulibaly with distinction. Jacob Courtemanche with distinction, the General Nichols Prize in Mathematics, the University Prize in Computer Science. Cécile Deng. Kimberly Fontes with distinction, the Strathcona Foundation plaque. Gabriela Joaquim, with distinction. The chair of the Board of Governors Prize, the Dr. Shannon Gadbois Prize for Excellence in Psychological Research. Cameron Levins, with distinction. Samuel Wilson, with distinction, the Chancellor's Prize, the Susanna Lee Memorial Prize. Matthew Addison. Nicholas Aliotto. Stéphanie Allard. Nima Aref. Chuntian Shen. Catherine Churchill, with distinction. Tyler Darcy.
Thank you.
Gabrielle Deschênes. Ryan Dewar. Eric Dushimi Yimana. Olivia Emmanuel. Joshua Fillion. Jessica Galin, with distinction. Matt Garrigan. Vasiliki Christina Georgiopoulos. Kevin Gibson. Laurie Gerard Dumont, with distinction. Alexandra Godfrey, with distinction. Emma Gutke, with distinction. Saxon, Ireland. Garvin Jian. Luke McPherson. Peter Bull Manyuk. Brett McCaver with distinction. Andrea McTaggart. Claire Murphy. Heather Nangraves. Tyler Pierrotti with distinction. Alicia Poccia with distinction. Kyle Ross with distinction. Maya Rothschild. Ryan Saborin with distinction. Nikki Sisson. Holly Stewart. Shi Zhong. Alasdair Van Duzer.
I now invite the members of the graduating class who are to receive the degree of Master of Science to please stand. Mr. Chancellor, and all members of the university, with the unanimous approval of this convocation, I present to you these candidates in order that they may be granted the degree of Master of Science.
By the power vested in me, I admit you to the degree of Master of Science in our university, together with its responsibilities, rights, and privileges.
Davidson Madudu. Tegan Maharaj. Umair Makhtar Ahmad Nushahi. Nokib Uddin.
Mr. Chancellor, I now invite the Valedictorian, Anna Rojic, to address Convocation.
Thank you for your vote of confidence. Warm welcome to the dedicated staff, accomplished faculty, visiting guests and family members, and of course, my fellow graduates. I am so incredibly grateful and humbled that I've been given the opportunity to say a final farewell to you today. I've been racking my brain for the right words to say in an attempt to comfort me. My brother told me that at this point in the day, probably only a quarter of you are left with me anyways. So to that quarter, thank you. We just convocated. So at this point, I think a lot of us are feeling kind of a goulash of emotions. You know, happy, really excited, definitely a little bit sad, a lot scared. Maybe even a little disappointed if we don't necessarily know what we're doing next year, or if we do, but it's not what we expected. In short, it's stressful, and I'm really scared, just like I'm sure a lot of my peers are. So instead of focusing on the scary side of the uncertainty, I want to reflect on how we're prepared to brave it now. I can't speak for everyone's experience here, and I don't know what the last couple years have meant to you specifically. But that being said, I can safely say that all of our unique university experiences share one special commonality, which is that we were able to do it in this special, magic, weird little pocket of the world. When I first came to Bishop, someone told me that no one gets here by accident. And I don't remember who said it, which gives me a lot of anxiety, because one thing I've learned here is to oversight and make sure you don't take credit for someone's work, but I don't remember. So it's me. Accident or not, we will all be forever changed for coming here. And there are things about me that only fellow Bishop's grads will be able to understand. We understand the importance of cultivating a brimming costume box, and the fact that we need to prepare for floods. We know the beauty of a great chant, and that it doesn't really matter what you say as long as you say it with conviction, and that when you hear the word glitter, you duck. With all the landmarks and the special slang we have and the weird traditions, it's like we really speak our own language. Civilians passing by us probably think we're speaking in code, but this is a language that none of us can unlearn. Damage is done. I think it's really important, since we had the opportunity to have this special experience, that we say thank you to everybody who made it possible. Thank you to our families and loved ones who supported our goals, some of whom have traveled a really long way today just to celebrate our accomplishments. And especially to our parents who continue to answer the phone even though we kind of only call them when we need something. Sorry. Thank you to the staff who work every day to keep this special place running with the unique spirit that it's always had. And to the professors who have done so much more than just lecture, thank you for fighting the good fight. Thank you for the seminar classes that taught us that a lot of the time questions are more valuable than answers. Thank you for your commitment to our development as intellectuals, and I truly think that it's because of you that we leave today, not just with a degree, but with an education. And it's important to distinguish between the two, because you can't get an education everywhere. When people talk about bishops, the word community inevitably comes up, and this is a very tight-knit and supportive community. It's important to thank the people who keep it running, but it's also really important that we remember to thank each other. We make up this community, and we've created this together. We've made friends who've become like family. I can't even express how heartbreaking it is to say goodbye to the two beautiful girls who have been my home the last 5 years, because you made a space where I could just be without thought or awareness. We're just one family in the Bishop's community, but Bishop is made of all of these mini families. We're connected through our houses, departments, sports, and clubs, but we all come together as one kind of big family. This entire campus in town has that feeling of home where you can just be. It's a space that doesn't ask us to be just one thing and celebrates the fact that we are many things. And this is incredibly rare in a world that seeks to classify and divide us and put us in a box. so don't stay in a box. This is what makes us a family. We all accept one another. And like any family, we can be a little bit dysfunctional at times, but there's real love here, and this love doesn't have to end here. I know that as an alumnus, I'll feel an inevitable draw to someone else who's also a Bishop's graduate. No matter where we go in the world or where we end up, Lennoxville will always be one of our homes, and you can always come back here and have that feeling. Usually, I hear it's customary for the valedictorian to give some life advice, but if I had sage life advice, I'd probably follow it myself. Anyone who knows me knows I've pretty much stumbled through the past couple of years, literally and figuratively. So I don't have advice, but I do have some hopes for you as my fellow graduates. I hope that you always help out a fellow Gator. There aren't that many of us, so it can't inconvenience you too hard. I hope that you dance whenever you can. And don't just bob and sway, but I want you to dance the way we're all going to be dancing tonight when the lights come on at the gate for the very last time. I hope that you celebrate the uncertainty that lies ahead, because it's in this weird space that you're going to make the most interesting mistakes in your life. And I hope that you recognize opportunities when they come to you, even when they're disguised as obstacles. And don't squander them, because it's entirely up to you. Your life is going to be as big and as full as you insist on. So make it full, make it big, and make it purple, because I think we all know that's more than just a color now. Congratulations, everyone. It's been a great ride.
Thanks, Anna. That was really wonderful. So this is the part of our ceremony where we recognize the highest achievements of our graduating students. We now wish to recognize our graduating students who have achieved the highest academic standard. The Governor General's Silver Medal recognizes the student who has achieved the highest standing in the final year of an undergraduate program. It will be presented by Dr. Dale Stout of the Psychology Department, and it will be awarded to Gabriela Joachim. The Chancellor's Prize is awarded to a graduating student for outstanding academic proficiency. It will be presented by Dr. Carrie Hull of the Biology Department, and this year's recipient is Samuel Wilson. The chair of the Board of Governors prizes. This is a prize which is awarded to students in their final year for outstanding academic proficiency. There is one recipient this year, and the prize will be presented by the chair of our board, Robert Hall. And the winner is Gabriela Joachim. The Honorable G. Howard Ferguson Cup and Chief Justice Greenshield's Prize is awarded to the student who, in the opinion of and by vote of the faculty, has made the greatest contribution to the life of the university. It will be presented by Dr. Andrew Stritch of the Department of Politics and International Studies, and this year the recipient is Emma Fingler. The Julie Bradshaw Award was established in the memory of Julie, a graduate of 1980. It is given to the student who received the highest number of votes for the Golden Mitre. It is presented by Dr. Trygve Ugland of the Department of Politics and International Studies, and this year it is awarded to Matthew Robinson. The Joan and Alex Patterson Award was established by Chancellor Emeritus Alex Patterson and his wife Joan. The prize is given to a graduating student who has contributed the most to volunteer work and activities in the off-campus community. It will be presented by Dr. Maxime Tromp of the Sport Studies program, and this year it is awarded to Stephanie Tavares Dejeuner. The Strathcona Foundation plaque is awarded to the athlete of the graduating year with the highest academic standing, who has represented the university in intercollegiate competition. The prize will be awarded by the Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Jackie Bailey, and the recipient is Kimberly Fontes. And finally, the Golden Mitre Awards. These are given in recognition of outstanding service to the student body. And the following students were elected to the Golden Mitre Honor Society by the graduating class. The award will be presented by Dr. Cheryl Gosselin of the Sociology Department. And this year's three inductees are Kelly Brown, Jordan Lavoie, and Matthew Robinson. Mr. Chancellor, Dr. Abel Bosum, members of the class of 2016, members of Convocation, families, and friends. Every year for 173 years, Bishops has celebrated this special day in the life of our university. The central role of the Chancellor, the academic dress, the Latin citations, and the other formalities of Convocation remind us that the idea of the university as a community of learning dates back to the Middle Ages and has endured through the centuries. Like all great institutions, Bishops has evolved over the decades as each generation has been charged with ensuring that the university meets the needs of its time. I think we can all take pride in knowing that although much has changed, Bishops continues to pursue its core mission of offering a sound and liberal education to undergraduate students. We remain focused on being an institution of choice for outstanding young people, seeking academic excellence and a rich undergraduate experience. We strive to be a university that instills confidence, courage, and a sense of responsibility in its students, to be a place that nurtures personal and intellectual freedom and fosters enduring friendships. We're proud that our graduating students consistently tell us that we've delivered on the promises we made to them when they chose Bishops. Over the last several months, several external assessments have confirmed that our students value highly their experiences at Bishops. In the 2016 Maclean's rankings, our students placed Bishops first in Canada amongst primary undergraduate universities for student satisfaction, the quality of our professors, and residence living. The Huffington Post ranked us first for extracurricular activities and first for sports and recreation. Both the Huffington Post and University Hub ranked us first for preparing future entrepreneurs. And the National Survey of Student Engagement placed Bishops in the top 10% of over 3,000 universities across North America for our supportive environment, the quality of our student-faculty interaction, the collaborative learning which occurs on our campus, and the high order of learning we provide. So I think we can say that Bishops has had a pretty good year. Much of Bishops endures over time. Our heritage buildings, our bucolic campus, and most importantly, our focus on a liberal education for undergraduates. But it is also true that each generation of students reinvents the university. And the class of 2016 has contributed to Bishops being an intellectually vibrant, ambitious, and caring community. J'étais vivement impressionné par les efforts de nos finissants afin que les valeurs fondatrices de notre université soient transmises à la prochaine génération d'étudiants qui, à leur tour, sauront les adopter et les transmettre. Ils ont démontré aux étudiants qui les suivent que les valeurs fondamentales, qui sont la curiosité, la rigueur, le respect d'autrui, l'intégrité et l'engagement, sont des valeurs sûres et, ce faisant, ils ont marqué de façon positive leur université. Et grâce à nos étudiants et toute notre communauté universitaire, je peux dire que Bishops a eu une année exceptionnelle. It was a year in which world events were felt very intensely on our campus. Early in November, Edward Snowden delivered a Donald lecture from Moscow. Although he only visited us virtually, his moral courage, commitment, and intelligence were evident to the standing room only audiences here in Centennial, in Bandine Hall, and to the 500 Bishops alumni who watched the conference online. No matter what any of us may think about the legality or the morality of his actions, he did force us to think about the implications of the massive amount of data that governments are gathering about their citizens. Now, 10 days after Snowden's talk, the terrorist attack occurred in Paris. The attacks happened on a Friday night, and when Fiona and I got up on Saturday morning, we decided to reach out to the French students on the campus. We sent an email to 5 students inviting them for dinner and encouraging them to share the invitation with their fellow French students at Bishop's. Now, I'm not a great fan of social media, but it certainly did its job that day. 60 students came to dinner at the house that night. I guess we all know what Bishop students will do when there's a free meal. But it was a very special evening of solidarity and camaraderie. And then a few days later, the French police found 3 of the terrorists in an apartment in Paris. And I was left wondering if the police had located the terrorists by using some of the information gathering techniques that Edward Snowden had condemned. One of the great challenges that our graduates will face is to determine how best to reconcile privacy and security. You will need to consider the differences between privacy and anonymity and consider the risks and benefits of each. The world is a complex place, and it is important that we confront these questions, and the Donald Lecture Series has helped us to do that. Edward Snowden was followed by Naomi Klein, who delivered a powerful Donald Lecture soon after returning from the climate change conference in Paris. And Omar Khadr's lawyer, Dennis Edney, talked to us about what had motivated him to represent Mr. Khadr. Mr. Edney spoke about the physical and emotional brutality that Mr. Khadr faced in Guantanamo, and he also spoke movingly of his faith in and gratitude for the Canadian judicial system. Now, another way in which world events impacted Bishops this year was the Syrian refugee crisis. Every year, Bishops and Champlain Regional College sponsor 2 refugee students. The university waives tuition for the first year. We provide a room in residence, and our food service provider, Sodexo, provides a free meal plan, and a committee of volunteers engages in fundraising to provide support for the students. In the face of the crisis in Syria, the university community came together last fall and decided that we should sponsor an additional refugee student in the winter semester. Ahmad joined us in January. He has just completed his first semester studying computer science, and I can say we are just very proud to have him here as a member of our community. Now, the world did not only come to Bishops this year, we went out to engage with it. A group of our students attended the Model United Nations in New York. Our delegation represented the United Arab Emirates, and they won an Outstanding Delegation Award, and 2 students were recognized as outstanding delegates. And Stephanie Tavares-Dagenet, who just walked across the stage, is about to embark on an extraordinary journey of discovery as she aims to set a world record by visiting every country on earth over the next 3 years. How's that for Bishop's ambition? Why doesn't... Where are you, Stephanie? Maybe we can get Stephanie just to stand. You want to stand up just for a sec? We want to wish you well. Now, each of us will have our own unique stories about what made this year. Let me share 3 of mine with you. The first occurred during orientation week. There is a tradition that the new students congregate late one night in front of the house on Harold Drive to wake the principal and sing the school song. I try to think of something original to say or do each year, and this year, I was waiting in the kitchen for the students to arrive. I thought what was a brilliant idea. I would fill a mug with beer so that I could raise it when the students sang the line, "Raise your beer mugs and your little brown jugs to Bishop's University." So there were about, Fiona and I opened the door, there were like 400 students amassed on the lawn. And it went pretty much as planned. The students were in great voice. I raised my mug at the appropriate time. After they finished singing, everyone was quiet, and I was about to share my modest words of wisdom when from the back of the crowd I start to hear chug, chug. And this cheer is getting loud, this chant's getting louder and louder. So suddenly I was facing one of the great character tests of my time as principal of bishops. Like, I instantly realized that I could resist the exhortations of the crowd. I could remain true to my message about the responsible consumption of alcohol. Or I could ignore my admonition about and just go ahead and down the beer. So my choice was essentially nerd or hypocrite. So I chugged the beer. Which all goes to show you that maturity and good judgment do not necessarily come with age. My second memorable moment occurred actually just a few weeks later. Once every 2 years, our football team travels to the Maritimes for a game. This has traditionally required the team to leave by bus on Thursday, returning overnight on Saturday, and arriving back on campus on Sunday morning, having spent more than 24 hours on the bus. So this year, with the help of some donors, we decided to charter a plane. And it actually didn't cost us too much more because we saved a night of hotel and some meals. But we also sold tickets on the plane. And there were some really generous alumni who decided to come along on the flight, and I decided to do that as well. So we had a toughly fought game against St. Mary's. We were losing early on, and we were losing throughout the game. And then we came from behind with a last-second touchdown. Bishops wins. It was wonderful. And before getting on the plane, we stopped for dinner in Halifax. And I found myself at a table by chance with 3 players. So one of them was Mathieu Demers. Mathieu was the quarterback. And he has come to Bishops from the Cégep de Limoilou in Quebec City. Told me he'd never studied in English before coming to Bishops. Trevon Millings, very different, Anglophone from Montreal, came to us from Champlain. And then we're having dinner, and Mathieu, the quarterback, says to me, "You know, Principal, that was actually the first touchdown pass I've ever thrown in university football." I thought that was pretty cool. And then Trevon said, "You know, actually that was the first touchdown pass I've ever caught in university football." And then they both said, "You know what, Principal, that was the first football game we've ever won in university football." So we were all kind of smiling and enjoying that wonderful moment. And then the two of them brought tears to my eyes. They both said that they had never been on an airplane before, and that this had been the best weekend of their lives. And in that moment, I think they captured the very best of Bishops. I was just so pleased that our university, with the help of our donors and the great work of our coaches and everyone who supports our students, that we were able to offer this important life experience to our students. Now, my guess is that Mathieu and Trevon may not go on to be professional football players, but I'm confident that we have helped them on their way to being confident, productive, and engaged citizens. Now, like my first story, my final story also entailed a potential for hypocrisy, but it has a happier ending. So one of the messages I give to students when they arrive on our campus during that first week is that they should not be afraid to try new things, that they should not let their insecurities impede them from doing things that take them out of their comfort zones. When I say it, it always seems to make sense to me, and it did until Fanny Gaudette showed up in my office. She's the director of the University Singers, and she asked me if I would sing a solo line in the spring concert. So I desperately wanted to say no, but I thought I'd be pretty hypocritical if I did. And she only wanted me to sing one line. It was in Pharrell Williams' song, Be Happy. So she organized a private rehearsal for me in the basement of Bandine, and I was like really dreadful. And at one point, Fanny said, Principal, you shouldn't come in on the downbeat. So I kind of nodded. I had no idea what she was talking about. And then the night before the concert, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I realized I couldn't remember my one line. So I was pretty panicked. And Fanny created this fiction that there was a rehearsal on the afternoon of the concert because she wanted to give me one more chance to practice. And she was obviously nervous, which made me even more so. But somehow she got me through it. And all I can say is, I think next year I'm going to join the University Singers. Now, I can't review everything that went on this year, but let me just say a couple more things. We hosted our fourth annual U4 weekend with delegations from our three sister universities in the Maritimes, Acadia, Mount Allison, and St. Francis Xavier. We hold a debating competition each year, and this year there were 8 teams, so 2 from each university. And I know that it's, well, I should tell you first that the 2 teams in the finals were both from Bishops. So I know it's a bit impolite to boast, but you can probably figure out who won. Across North America, post-secondary institutions have been increasingly focused on finding ways to support students' diverse needs, specifically addressing issues related to mental health, sexual safety, and gender equality. And we were one of 6 universities to participate in an innovative national health initiative to encourage conversation on the hazardous relationship between young women and drinking. And then in March, we joined with 15 other universities, 18 student associations representing more than 180,000 students across Quebec in an effort aimed at student awareness about sexual harassment, violence, and consent. And recently, we received a generous donation from one of our alumni who has allowed us to create a new student internship position dedicated to sexual health and safety and gender equity. We held our annual Mental Health and Wellness Week and continued our efforts to decrease the stigma related to mental illness and to raise awareness about how to facilitate mental health. So the campus has been busy, but our community has also been very active beyond the Bishop's bubble. Our BEST program has enabled a new group of students to pursue their diverse and ambitious dreams. Here's just a sample of what some of our students are going to be doing this summer. Presenting research at the Canadian Chemistry Conference in Halifax, participating in an internship at the Institut National du Sport du Québec, volunteering with a child's rights initiative in Jamaica, studying Jane Austen at King's College in London, participating in a curatorial internship at a gallery in Dawson City in the Yukon, and working as a research assistant to a veterinary epidemiologist in Calgary. So we just have such extraordinarily talented students, and it's a thrill to watch them grow and pursue their dreams. Now, we continue to pursue our capital campaign, the first that we've done in 15 years, whose goal is to help us preserve the bishops that we love, the small classes, the residential character, the access that students have to professors, and the other life-changing experiences that make it so special. As most of you know, I'm sure, Quebec universities are facing major financial challenges. We are a public university, and our finances are in large measure dependent on government funding. But private philanthropy has always been and will continue to be a key factor in Bishop's capacity to achieve its ambitions. And I'm happy to report that we are well on the way to achieving our campaign goals. It's not possible to recognize every donor, but I know that the Bishop's community would want me to honor John Donald of the class of 1960, who made a multi-million-dollar gift to endow the Donald Lecture Series. From Romeo Dallaire, Jesse Jackson, Clara Hughes, and Edward Snowden, to Michael Jean, Ed Bertinsky, Chris Hadfield, and Naomi Klein, Each of our speakers has brought us unique insights and provoked stimulating debates on the most compelling issues and events of our time. I can't think of a more appropriate way to show support for the essence of what Bishops is and what we constantly aspire to be than John Donald's decision to give us the means to invite these distinguished speakers, to expand our knowledge, to challenge us, to encourage us to reflect, to question, and to learn. Well, it happens that John is with us this afternoon to celebrate his niece's Stephanie Lamb's graduation, and I know he's going to be really angry with me, but I would ask John if he would stand so that we can express our gratitude to him. Where are you, John? There he is. We still refer to the Abbott, Munster, and Keener residence as Newside, but they were actually built more than 50 years ago, and there's not much new about them. And last August, with the support of our capital campaign, we undertook the renovation of the first of those residences, Abbott. And I'm pleased to report that we got that job done on time and on budget. And if you have a chance, if you haven't yet had an opportunity to do so, you should stop by and see what a wonderful job that our buildings and grounds people did in renovating that building. Another major objective of our campaign is going to be to renovate the library. It's been 30 years since we did that. La bibliothèque est toujours la pierre angulaire de notre université, là où on peut trouver des renseignements et générer et partager des idées. À une époque où l'acquisition des connaissances se fait à une vitesse sans précédent, nous devons adapter la bibliothèque aux réalités du XXIe siècle. Nous imaginons de nouveaux espaces et de nouvelles technologies qui aideront nos étudiants et étudiantes à accéder à l'information et à collaborer ensemble. Nous imaginons un corps professoral capable de poursuivre ses recherches et d'en diffuser les résultats efficacement. Nous imaginons enfin un lieu qui sort le cœur spirituel de notre campus. We are particularly grateful to the class of 2016 for joining with students from other classes in donating $1 million to this project. One of the most powerful messages of your gift is that our students want to support future generations of students. In current parlance, we would say that you have chosen to pay it forward. You won't be here to benefit from the renovated library, but you've chosen to provide this support for the students who will follow you. And on their behalf, I say thank you. In listening to Abel Bosum, in that just extraordinary speech that he gave, I wasn't sure how to respond. It was just a year ago that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission issued its report on Canada's Indian residential school system and its ongoing legacy. The Honorable Justice Murray Sinclair, now a senator, issued a call for action towards reconciliation. And the Commission not only called upon governments to act, it called upon us individually and collectively to respond to the legacy of the residential schools. Canada's universities educate more than 1 million students each year, but fewer than 10% of Indigenous students in Canada have a university degree compared to 28% of non-Aboriginals. There is an urgent need to close this education gap. And closing this gap will not only benefit Indigenous graduates and their communities, but it will obviously benefit Canada as a whole. One of the things we pride ourselves on at Bishops is that we are a welcoming and respecting learning environment, and so we stand ready to do our part. We began this year in a modest way to discuss these issues with our Indigenous students. We have much that we would like to do to make Bishops and all of the educational institutions here in Lennoxville more welcoming and supportive to Indigenous students. We hope to work with Abel Bosum and his colleagues, other Aboriginal leaders, to learn from and to contribute to our Indigenous communities. I'll conclude by just saying that individually and collectively, the class of 2016 consistently responded to the needs of people less fortunate than themselves here in Sherbrooke and around the world, whether it was cystic fibrosis or ALS, disadvantaged children, or several other causes. Our students have consistently given of their time, their energy, and their resources to help others. Our students are concerned about making the world a better place. So we owe a debt of gratitude to the class of 2016 for how they have cared for each other, for this institution, and for the world. So I would like to ask the class of 2016 to rise together so that we can express our gratitude to them, not for what they have achieved individually, but for what they have contributed collectively to bishops. Thank you. You know, as I look at all of you, I'm reminded that it was late on a September night, only a few years ago, that many of you stood together on the lawn in front of the principal's residence, singing at the top of your lungs that you were conditioned to your fate, you would never graduate, and you would stay here forevermore. Well, fortunately, you were wrong about never graduating, but I suspect that you were right when you sang the line, "College days will linger ever in our hearts." You will certainly linger in ours. Vous avez fait honneur à votre université, à vos familles et surtout à vous-même. C'est donc avec une grande fierté, mêlée d'un peu de tristesse, que nous vous disons au revoir. You've done your university, your families, and yourselves proud. It is with a bittersweet feeling that we bid you adieu. We do so, however, with confidence that you leave here ready and determined to choose your own paths, to further the boundaries of knowledge, to care for our planet, and to do your part in the never-ending quest to advance peace, justice, equality, and prosperity in the world. Nous suivrons vos réalisations avec grand intérêt. It will be exciting to watch you. Congratulations for all you have achieved. Thank you for all you've contributed. So go out and celebrate tonight. I know you're good at that. And then go out and use the knowledge and skills you acquired at Bishop's to make the better world you all believe in. Congratulations.
I declare this Convocation of Bishops University to be closed. Everyone is invited to a reception in the Sports Center after the singing of the National Anthem. And after the singing of the National Anthem, I'd like those present to remain seated until the academic procession and the students have exited the auditorium. So would you please rise for the singing of the National Anthem?